people out there in the world. So today on the Connected podcast, we have another special guest, Brielle. Brielle is just an amazing woman who's been on dialysis for more than 30 years. She has her own business. You know what I mean? She's a motivational speaker. I met her, on I think through Facebook, if I'm not mistaken. She saw me sticking myself with my needles and reached out. And honestly, me and her just connected on so many different levels. And I'm excited. I'm excited for her to tune in and share her story with you guys, because this is another amazing warrior. This is just another a light, a being of love and light in the world that is taking her power back and sharing her story with the world. I'm excited to have her as a special guest here on The Connected, because this is what I do. You already know this. You know what I'm saying? You heard me. This is what we do on The Connected. We connect everybody because everybody is connected. There she is right there, the guest of the hour. Hello, Brielle.
Hello, finally.
Yes, we're doing this. Look.
Face to face. Yes. Let me get some more light going on in here. How's it going?
Oh, I'm doing amazing. I just came back from dinner. It was my mom's birthday's tomorrow, so yes.
Oh my gosh. Seriously, my dad actually just had his 69th birthday.
I saw. Y'all gotta check her dad's video out. He's an ox, a very strong man.
He was acting all funny, like he couldn't lift stuff. What was that? Was that yesterday?
Oh,
yeah. Oh my gosh, so good to see you.
So good to see you too. I'm excited for this because, when we get on the phone call and we talk about just life in general, we start getting deep on so many different levels, but we connect on a very serious, very intimate level when it comes to this kidney community and dialysis world. And I thank you. It's a pleasure. Thank you so much for doing this. Getting that message across because your story is so profound. It's so amazing. And you told me a little bit. You just gave me like a little slice of the pie, not even the whole thing. So, I know today we're not going to get into it all, but definitely we could start, start chewing a little bit.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well,
I would like to know. Yeah. So were you born with kidney disease, or how did this happen? How did this progress? Because, for me, I wasn't born. It slowly happened.
So I didn't have any symptoms till I was about 10, 11 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, not even really major symptoms. I was having a few bladder issues, UTIs,
mm-hmm.
and probably when I was 12 years old, that's when I went to, a few things occurred beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so when I was 9, my mom passed away.
Oh,
and my birth father really didn't have anything to do with us, when she was alive. And my mom remarried my dad now. Mm-hmm. My dad is actually my stepdad that won custody of my brother and I.
Mm-hmm.
So my mom passed away. My birth father showed up like 2 days after she passed away, something like that, maybe even a couple days after. But, we're still grieving. And he's like, I want the kids. And that was a lot of stress on me and my brother. And my brother's younger. And so I basically took care of him.
Mm-hmm.
And we had to go with John and with his wife, so my stepmom.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I actually began to love animals, like really connect with animals, because it was such a stressful time. Oh my goodness. It was just fighting all the time. We wanted to go back to Vince, my stepdad, who I'm just going to call him my dad because...
Yeah, that's your dad. Yes, it is. Vince. That's his name, Vince. Yes, okay.
And he's so amazing, and I'll get to that. So basically, I began to develop high blood pressure at 10 years old. Okay. And then I started getting high blood pressure. So then they wanted to do more tests. And that's where they found that I had the renal reflux. Because I had a few tests, and I probably was born with it because my cousin actually had the same thing. She grew out of it. So with me having the high blood pressure, all of the stress, the backflow, that's when, so I had the surgery. Sorry, I had the surgery to reimplant the ureters. Then about a year after that, so custody battle was over. We won everything. And I was doing really good. The surgery went well. But about a year after that, my hemoglobin was like down to a 5 or a 4.
Oh.
Yeah. And my creatinine started going up.
Yeah.
My when started going up. And that's when they were talking to my parents about starting dialysis. So I started PD. And I did PD for about 6 months. And then my dad donated a kidney.
Yeah.
Left heart. And that did not work out. My body rejected the kidney within like a couple of weeks. And I got really sick from that. And all kinds of medications were pumping, like, you know, how,
the prednisone, the Cellcept, everything.
Yes, Cellcept and whatever. That one that is really stinky. I forget. Starts with an N, I think. But
it smelled. I remember one that smelled like elephant feces to me.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Poop. Yes. Like poop.
Yeah.
Like going to the zoo. I'm like, oh my gosh, I know that. And then it was called, they're trying to really pump medication in me to save it. It was called like KT or something. PK. I don't know, but I went through seizures. I remember doing everything, like every bodily function all at once. It was bad, but I pulled through it. And obviously went back onto dialysis. This time though, it was in center, and that's when I had the fistula.
Oh wow.
Put in my arm. And that actually got too big. So I had this for about 3 years. It actually got too big, and it was starting to enlarge the right side of my heart.
Oh, wow.
So doing that, it actually caused, have you ever heard of ascites?
I never heard of that. What is that?
Ascites is a buildup of fluid when there's like an imbalance in the body.
Okay.
And it'll start making this fluid in the peritoneal cavity.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it was making like this apple juice looking liquid in my...
The bile, yeah.
Yeah, in my peritoneal cavity. So I would have to get that drained like every so often, like every couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And so the doctor's like, okay, this is silly. How about we just put you on peritoneal?
Yeah.
So they did that. They tied this off, was on PD for a couple of years until my brother gave me a kidney.
Oh, man.
Unfortunately, the same thing happened. My body it does not like those immunosuppressants at all.
Same.
I got pancreatitis this time.
That's very painful. For anybody out there, that is super duper painful. Oh,
yeah.
My goodness.
Yeah.
You do so much. So there's so much that happened. Like, I have so many questions.
I know there's so much, and I could write a book. Seriously.
You will write a book, but your journey's not over with. It's not done yet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You're like in the middle part of it. You know, you still have so much more life left. So I
absolutely.
know. But
Absolutely.
I'm curious, why did they? So they just jumped from like the news that your kidneys were failing straight to dialysis. Like it wasn't, or I'm sorry, like yeah, it was dialysis then a transplant. For me, it was transplant then dialysis. You know, I don't understand did they tell you why?
You know, they didn't, and
You're so young.
I was only like like just turning 13.
Yeah, you're a baby.
And so I'm trying to think, I think I was like, it was really like my kidneys weren't working at all. And we needed like intervention with
Yeah.
dialysis.
Okay, that makes sense.
We like could not wait for a kidney.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't even know, we didn't even know a couple months in until um like we could get tested.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember my dad being pretty PO'd, like,
Yeah.
tell us this sooner, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah. But with the pancreatitis, that really did me in. That one did me in as far as I couldn't eat for 3 months. I was on TPN, so I was getting nutrition from the lipids, the bag, and I had like this tube in my chest.
Uh-huh.
Not the dialysis one, not the permacap.
Yeah.
But feeding tube because I couldn't eat.
Mm-hmm.
The pancreas was just so inflamed.
Mm.
I had to learn how to walk again.
And you were how old when all this was happening?
So the second one, I was 21.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And then when your brother gave you the kidney, what happened with that one? Is that what around this time?
That's what caused his kidney didn't cause the pancreatitis, but the immunosuppressants caused the pancreatitis, and then the kidney failed and then went back onto dialysis. I got down to about 65 pounds.
Oh my goodness, B.
With all that pancreatitis.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
It's a miracle that you're still alive. I don't think people even understand that 60 pounds, 65 pounds.
Yep.
Wow. You're just a warrior. Honestly, you amaze me. Like you amaze me because you say you've been on dialysis. So it's been a total of how long that you've been doing treatment?
This October will be 31 years.
Ooh. That's yeah.
And I love to work out. I love to hike. Chewy. I love to hike. I love to bike ride. Love to cook. So I'm so sorry. I think the delivery guy is calling me.
No worries. If you do got to go, it's all good.
You can edit all this out, right?
I'll take that. I'll take this part out. I'll leave some of it in there because it's fun.
Fancy screens back there.
Yes, because we do music too. I'm an artist. I'm an artist at heart. Yes, my nephew's a producer. He's a singer, a rapper. I do the same thing. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yes, it's a lot. We're doing a lot. You already know. Just because we're dialysis patients and we live this life, we find ways to just stay busy and stay moving. Really.
Yes, exactly. Yes. I'm a busybody. Like I have to keep going. I've always been like that. My dad has been like my inspiration too. He's just always been my number one support, my number one fan.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's beautiful.
So yeah, it's such a blessing that everything worked out. And I mean, Marcella, I haven't really even told you all of bits and pieces of my story as far as like with my husband passing away. And he's the one that really pushed me to do home hemo.
Oh, wow.
So Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I whatever you want to share, I'm all ears. You know, if you want to be an open book, I'm all ears. You know, because that's
Yeah.
a whole part of your story that I know
Okay.
the listeners would love to hear about.
So after my brother's kidney transplant, and I started getting back into the gym, my best friend Jason, he actually really got me into working out.
Mm-hmm.
And so we started going to the gym and everything. That's where I met my husband.
Mm-hmm.
And this competition, a competition,
Mm-hmm.
2006, and
Okay.
I got second place.
Nice.
So that right there, oh my gosh, it was very a I just had to really watch what I was putting into my body,
Yes.
limit stress. I was meditating like every day. That's when I first started really getting into meditation
Mm-hmm.
and just just balancing everything.
Yes.
Um, and yeah, so that was a big highlight just because of everything that, I went through.
Mm-hmm.
So, but ever since then, so let's see, I started home hemo 2012. So I've been doing it for about 9 years, I guess. Yeah, 9 years this month, actually.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's going good as far as like with my graft in my leg. I've had that since 2001.
Oh wow, that's a very long time.
Yes. Well,
Did you
here's
ever
a
have
story.
any Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Yes, absolutely.
Well, yeah, I had one back in 2008. It was actually like a very spiritual um, awakening that I had too during this time.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew something was wrong with it. And I went to my vascular surgeon,
Mm-hmm.
and he just said, keep it dry, keep it clean, just watch it.
Yeah.
Literally the next day, Mark and I went um, to get something to eat, at a restaurant. And I went to stand up, and all of a sudden, I just felt this gush falling, like just
Yeah.
falling down from my leg.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I know I'm not good. I know that's not tinkle. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
And I look down, and there's already like a 3-inch diameter of blood around my shoe.
Oh my goodness.
So my venous side, I had a little pseudo aneurysm. Come to know, I had a little pseudo aneurysm that popped. Thank goodness. I mean, either way, it's deadly.
Yeah.
Thank goodness, though, it popped and it bled out rather than inside my leg.
Mm-hmm.
I probably wouldn't be here talking to you right now if that
Yeah.
happened. So Mark knew exactly what to do. He was a chiropractor,
Mm-hmm.
and he tied like, I don't know what it was, but he tied something around my femoral artery,
Yeah.
and then just well, first he carried me to the restroom, and then pulled my pants down and just put on that venous
Yeah.
side, because
With the tourniquet.
it like a garden hose, like if you were to take a garden hose and just put a little pinprick
Yeah.
in the hose, and the blood, every time my heart would pump, it would go.
Oh, oh my goodness.
There was blood all over the place. I mean, it looked like somebody got massacred in that bathroom. And I thought I was going to die. I really, really thought that I was a goner because I just saw all this blood, and I was scared. I was really scared. And Mark started doing, he was a huge energy healer.
Mm-hmm.
He would just put his hands on people and his hands would just get hot.
Yeah.
And people felt better.
Mm-hmm.
So he started, like, as he was holding the site, he started doing energy work. And all of a sudden, it was like I felt this warm comforter, or like somebody just giving me a big hug.
Mm-hmm.
And like I had this feeling of peace and happiness, and like I was going to be okay. And then he told me what he experienced. So he was really concentrating on me, you know, like trying to stop the blood, running the energy. All of a sudden, he said the room just fell. It was just he and I there. And way out behind me, he saw like all of these angels behind me.
Yes.
Like, like all of these angels.
Yeah.
And he was having like, he said he was like having this telepathic conversation with like Archangel Raphael.
Mm-hmm.
And I get goosebumps like every time.
Yes. You're giving me goosebumps. Yes, you are.
And he just was like, all right, I know she's bleeding a lot. She's going to be okay, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the angels, all of the angels were just like, she's going to be fine. She's going to be fine. And so the ambulance come. They're like, holy crap. You know, who's this? Mark had blood all over him. You know, who's the one that's bleeding? He's like, she's bleeding here. She has a graft. It exploded. Go to the hospital, and my hemoglobin and my ferritin
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
hardly dropped.
Yeah. Really?
Isn't that crazy?
That is very crazy.
All of this blood.
Yeah.
And I thought I was going to lose the graft, but I didn't. They put a stent in it.
Uh-huh.
They actually, though, a couple weeks later, they did have to take out that messed up part, you know, the part that busted, and put in fresh new material.
Mm-hmm.
But since 2001, it has been hooked up to the same femoral artery. So I've had it in the same spot.
What a story. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That's your guardian angel right there. And now that he's not here with us anymore, I mean, God bless you. He's still watching over you. He's still watching over you. That is so amazing. Wow.
Yeah.
How long ago was that? That happened?
2008.
2008. Okay.
That was 2008. He actually passed away in 2015.
Oh, you've been through so much.
We were together for 10 years. With me, I didn't really need a piece of paper to tell me that I was married. I knew I wanted to be with him forever.
Yeah.
And he surprised me. One day we went back to New Jersey. That's where I'm from.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a beach called Sunset Beach. It's my favorite beach. And he asked me to marry him.
Oh.
Huh? Oh, like I didn't know. It surprised me. And so, yeah, we got married in 2013. So
It's so sweet.
But yeah, I still feel like he is here with me, but just in a different way. He's not physically here, but he's here spiritually. I see so many signs. I see numbers all the time. I see trains.
Yes.
get pennies. It's either like 2003, like when we actually met,
Yeah.
or 2015, or not 2000, sorry, 2013 when we got married,
Hmm.
like
Yeah.
very mental dates on the pennies.
Exactly. That's him communicating with you. That's him showing you it is, and you're tuned in. Because you exude love. Like you exude such a positive light and energy, and that's honestly that's why I'm drawn to you, and that's why we connected. Because you like me, we're in these dialysis groups. We're out there sharing our story and really just trying to be a positive light, and it gets very dark. It gets very dark because there's so many people that are hurting, that are just suffering, and just to hear your story, to hear what you've been through, not even to deal with the dialysis stuff, just like the personal stuff, it just makes you realize that you got to be grateful. You have to be grateful for the things that you have in life, because everyone is going through something.
Absolutely. I wake up every day and just I give thanks to the universe and God, source, whatever you want,
Mhm.
and just so grateful I'm still here. I'm grateful for my family and my friends,
Mhm.
people that I don't even know. I'm grateful for, because that's what makes the world.
True. That is very true. I love
you know,
that. I love that so much. And I mean, you're a boss. You're a boss lady. You know what I'm saying? You're a motivational speaker for the next stage. Yes. I mean, people got to understand that you're a powerhouse. You it's a matter of getting out of that victim mentality, and use your story, because that's your fuel, that's your fire. Because now you actually get paid. Let's talk about that a little bit. You actually get paid for, to talk about your treatments, and how does that work? How did that come along?
so that came along. Actually, it was a long process, but totally, absolutely worth the wait. Um, Back in 2018, I went to San Antonio for like a girls' trip, and it was like a makeup convention.
Okay.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and one of the gals there was very, very popular as far as like on social media with her makeup and stuff. And I was doing a dialysis treatment in the hotel, and she was just so blown away by it. She just was like, Brielle, I had no idea you did this.
Uh-huh.
And so it was like six of us girls in this. It was actually an Airbnb. And so I was like hooking up everything and hanging my bags and, getting everything connected and then putting the needles in. And she was just like blown away.
Yeah.
She took a picture of me in the hotel or in the Airbnb. I was like in the bed and hooked up, to the machine. That I guess that picture, like a lot of people shared that picture and it just circulated around the internet, Facebook.
Yeah.
And Vanessa of Next Stage saw it.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I think she's like the director of like all of the regional managers. And she reached out to me and she's like, I usually don't do this, but we need you. And so it took a little bit just because I actually started with them, I want to say last year of like August.
Mm-hmm.
So that was 2020. This was 2018. So just
Yeah.
like, everything just kind of everything happens for a reason is what I think, because last year my pet sitting business was kind of struggling, obviously, because of COVID and nobody was going to work, nobody was going on vacations.
Mm-hmm.
So that means for me, no pet sits.
Yeah.
So it's just it's so crazy how things just work out and how like I really needed something, but yet I didn't do something else like go get a job or
Yeah.
in like I waited because I had myself and I knew in my gut that something was going to happen and I wasn't going to have to work for somebody else, you know?
Mm.
And it did.
It did.
So then I was at my dialysis clinic. And then one of the regionals for Columbus, Mincy,
Okay.
called me. And then that's where everything just connected. She's like, oh yeah, Vanessa. It was like, maybe they forgot about me, you know?
Yeah.
Then like things started connecting. And then I heard from Vanessa, and that's where things started. So yeah, I absolutely love talking to I love talking to in-center patients. I also do, the lunch and learns. They're called lunch and learns for like techs and the nurses. I just share my story and the benefits of home hemo and how amazing I feel and how much energy and endurance and
So, I want to get so loud right now because you can see it. You just see you glowing. You see you glowing. I know you feel so good, and that's so awesome, man. Because it gets so depressing sometimes as a dialysis patient, and just to see you and you're thriving. You're thriving, B. I love it.
Yes, I felt like crap. Not
Yeah.
in center.
Yeah.
Or just wipes you out.
Yes.
And even kind of PD a little bit with me because I was so petite and it just like made me feel bloated. But yeah, in center, sometimes I would just feel lethargic, washed out. My color, I mean, I was like this weird gray color.
Yeah.
With home hemo, I mean, I get compliments about my hair. People ask about my hair. A lot of patients always ask me about my hair. And also like the color in my face.
Your skin, yes, you could tell. It looks like you've been in the sun all day.
Yeah. Love the sun. Yep.
Oh, yeah. Man, we could talk about the sun for hours, but that's a huge topic by itself. Not just the sun, but the difference between in-center and home hemodialysis. Because I don't know about you, but I've done all of them. I've done in-center, in-hospital, nocturnal, PD, and home.
You've done nocturnal?
I have, yes.
Okay. I've never done that one. That's the only one that I have not done.
Yeah, it's the same thing as in-center. You just do it for longer. And the thing is, people say everybody is different. There's not two people that do dialysis and they get the same out of it. Everyone's different. And for me, I always noticed like in-center, it doesn't matter if I go to a new clinic or I do nocturnal, like the first 2 weeks, I'll be like, oh yeah, I feel good. I feel different. I feel okay. But then as soon as I just keep getting into that routine, I start to feel the effects of that machine just getting me, you know what I'm saying? And so could you tell a difference? You know what I'm saying? I mean, I know you did, but could you go a little bit into that? Like, what's the difference that you feel between in-center and home?
As far as with in-center, I don't feel like I'm running a marathon when I'm sitting in the chair. When I was in center, or did I say that right?
Yeah, you said it perfectly.
When I'm at home, yeah.
Okay.
Home hemo, I don't feel like I'm running a marathon just sitting in the chair. When I was in center, oh my gosh, it felt like I was running a marathon. My pulse was really high. I would have heart palpitations. Even like as far as mentally, like thinking, it was so hard to have a conversation and listen to somebody because I would have like anxiety and
oh my goodness,
it was horrible. No wonder people in center are so depressed, you know?
Isn't that so strange though? I thought, see, that's something that I was aware about. I was very aware of this for many years because it's like I would have to prep myself when I would drive to the clinic. I would sit outside and I would be like, okay, God, man, I don't want to do this. I don't, but I had to get in there. And I'm not gonna lie to you. On the way there, I would drug myself because I used to be on pain medicines and Xanax. I would take so much of that stuff. You
I
know what
was
I'm
on
saying?
the neck. I was so panicky and I thought like I was going to lose control.
Yeah.
Like it was so scary, and like I thought people were looking at me, and it was awful. And I feel like it was the dialysis just because,
Yeah.
like it's probably the high blood flow rate. I bet you anything. And then the pulling you know, of the water coming off so fast.
Yeah. Well,
And
there's a
your
difference.
body doesn't function like that.
Exactly. Exactly. Because I've always noticed that too. When I would always be admitted in the hospital in the ER or doing dialysis in the hospital, for whatever reason, they would have something that's called a crit line. And the crit
Yeah.
line, and yeah, so it tells you when the patient has removed all the fluid. So then you'll never cramp. You know what I'm saying? You'll never cramp, and then you don't feel so bad. And I've always said that. I always told my nurses and my doctors, why do I feel so good when I do dialysis in center, but then I do it in the hospital? I mean, when I do it in the hospital, I feel good, but I do it in center, I feel just out of my mind. And
Yeah.
this is what they told me. It's a money thing. It's because in center they're not going to pay for a crick line for all the machines. And
Right.
that just blew me away. But it makes you realize, and this is why people got to understand. I'm not against the Western medical system, but it is what it is. Doctors and the Western medical hospitals, it's all a business. It is a business. It's all about money. You know, for the most part, it gets a little bit, messy when you start talking about this stuff, but it's just, when you're living this, it breaks your heart because you're not with me. You're the doctor and the nephrologist is not with us when we have to go through there for 4 hours, sit in that chair and then get off of it. And then you just feel like a zombie. Like all you want to do is eat and go to sleep.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
Yeah.
And that would even extend to the next day.
Yeah. Yes.
Then you're just feeling good. You're feeling like yourself again. And then you got to go back in and all over.
And you do that for years.
Yeah.
Years.
Yep.
That
Yes.
is insane. It is insane. And I mean, but I'm grateful though. I am grateful because
Oh, yeah.
all
If
that happened for a reason.
we wouldn't be here if we didn't have, the in-center dialysis. I
Yeah.
mean, home chemo, when was that? When did they develop that? Wasn't that like 2005 or
Yeah.
four or something?
Not long ago. Yeah.
I mean, people would have those like baby K's in their house, but
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and then you have to, it's like a whole special water system with
Yeah.
that. That I love about Next Stage is so easy to hook up to your water,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just you can set it up anywhere. If I want to set it up one day, in the family room and run on bags, I
Yeah.
can. I usually use the Pure Flow.
Yes. Yes.
So,
Yeah.
but
And I love
yeah,
that because that's something that a lot of people don't know, and they're scared. People that are doing in center, I know that you're scared about doing dialysis at home, and I understand that you don't want to turn your house into a clinic, but don't think about it like that. Because I used to think about that same thing. I used to think about it like I'd rather let you guys, all the nurses, you're gonna handle all this, but
me,
you know what I'm saying? You got to take it back. So tell us, B, like how simple is the setup of a pure flow and a hanging bags? Because it's not that bad.
not that bad at all. There's just a few steps, and then I mean, so as far as like setting up the machine, I usually do it the night before.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, as far as like setting up with the cartridge, is that what you wanted?
Well, I was in my mind, I was actually thinking, okay,
Or
so
like my house, how it is?
yes, because
Okay.
like when you said Pure Flow, that's a one-time installation. If you want it in your room, they install it and they hook it up to the bathroom or whatever water line, and then there you go. And then you know what I'm saying, you can set it up from there.
Yep. So my dialysis equipment is actually set up at my parents' house. They're like 5 minutes away. And I go over there.
Yeah.
It's the basement. So it's hooked up to the washer as far as with the water. And the drain line is in the sump pump. And the pure flow, I mean, that doesn't take up a lot of space. And then the next stage just sits right on top of it. As far as supplies, I mean, next stage is really awesome as far as like, if you want like half a month, they'll deliver half a month. If you want a full month, they called me the other day. They're like, do you want us to deliver 2 months? We could do that because we have extra room. But as far as like, they're just so accommodating as far as like, if you have a 1-bedroom apartment, you know, and up in your bedroom, you know, I used to have it in my other apartment before I got a roommate. And I mean, it was just like on one corner of the bedroom. And then I had, you know, my supplies there and my chair and the television, you know. So I did think that too. I thought that I don't want my house to become a clinic. I just want to go to dialysis and be done with it and come home.
Yeah.
But the benefits, they outweigh, oh my gosh, it is like night and day, the way that I feel. And I know in my heart, like how these in-center patients are feeling. And I know how much better they can feel.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And the biggest obstacle for me was probably sticking myself. Because I have that leg graft. It's nice because I can use 2 hands. But every time I stick, I'm going in, you know, I gotta hit that graft. I gotta go into that graft. So
yeah,
I wish they could do buttonholes in a graft, but
you know what? I was actually talking to, I forgot his name, but he was a surgeon, a vascular surgeon from somewhere in Africa, but he's here in the States. And he saw my story, and we had a Zoom meeting a few months ago, and he's trying to find a way to cannulate without needles.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
I forgot his name. It starts with an O.
Or Chavot?
I'm not gonna try to pronounce his name because it's like a very long name with it starts with the O though. That's all I'll say.
Have you ever heard of the Kidney Project?
I have, yes.
They're actually so it's been going a long time.
For a while, yeah.
They're trying to make an organ, you know. But in the process of making the artificial kidney, they actually made something called iHemo, and you'll have to look this up. So it's I, like an iPhone, and HEMO. And it's kind of like what you're talking about. So you have this thing that's like on the outside, and you just hook the tubes up to it, and no needles.
Yes. And he was, I don't know, like when he said that, I'm still curious to see what he comes up with, because he you know, he's working on that. But that, you know, what you said, most people, I think, honestly, if not 100%, maybe like 99.9% of people don't like to do in-center or at home because they have to stick themselves.
Right.
But if you learn, like I learned in-center because my arm got infiltrated one too many times by other people. You know what I'm saying? Because each dialysis tech is going to stick differently. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, and they have to go to other patients, you know? So if you could get over that hump, over that fear, and learn to stick yourself in center, then like you said before, you're already half of the way there. You know, you cut off 2 weeks of training as far as doing home hemodialysis. So, you know, get started on that, because you can feel tremendous at home.
Yes, absolutely. I totally agree with that. I hear it from more patients. That's the one thing that scares them, is to cannulate themselves. You know, stick those needles in.
Yeah. Do you use sharp needles or buttonhole needles?
I use sharps.
Okay. And for the audience, the difference between,
yes.
buttonhole is a blunt needle. You know, it's, you basically make a tunnel and then you just go in that same, that's what I have. You go in that same area every time. When you do sharps, you use the ladder method, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you want to explain the ladder method?
So basically like rotating spots.
Yeah.
How can I? So I guess let's say if I start low, and then you want to make sure when you stick yourself that you at least go like, what is it, like a centimeter? So above the last that you went. Or sometimes what I'll do is I'll go like really low, then I'll go really high, and then I'll go kind of like above the last one.
Yeah.
Does that make
sense? That does make sense. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. They told me, they say it has to be at least 2 finger apart, you know, from the needle points. So for me, that's what they said for me. But there's so many little tips and tricks, you know, that we can do, you know. And for me, and this is what I share in these dialysis groups, and it's not that I'm going against doctors' orders or anything, but because I'm always wanting to find ways to feel better, because, you know, I'm not trying to be arrogant in any type of way, but a nephrologist, don't get me wrong, they are amazing. They are amazing. I respect their word in every way, but they can only say so much when it comes to like actually telling a dialysis patient how they feel on dialysis. Because I mean, it's almost like a man telling a woman how to have birth, basically. I don't know. I never had a kid. So as far as the machine at home, there's tips that I do. You know, I lowered the blood flow rate throughout treatment. So then when I get done with treatment, I don't feel as nearly as drained as I would if I would have left it at 400. You know what I'm saying? Or because sometimes some people do 450. So that's one method that I do, you know. And something else that I do, I shared that and people lost their mind on Facebook.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they went hard on me, but I get it. You know, I'm just on the screen. They don't really hear my voice. They don't know my story. But you know, but something else that I would love to share is I actually created this. I call it the slow pull method. So like, let's say you have to pull 2 kilos off. You know what I'm saying? Of fluid. So instead of putting, you know how you got a program the machine, you put 2 kilos off. So instead of putting 2 kilos, I only put 0.3.
Okay.
0.3. And then the machine is going to alarm 5. Do, do, do. Then as soon as that does that, I add another 0.3. And then it'll keep doing that until I pull off all of the 2.0. And I guarantee you, B, you will feel good because you're not pulling it all at once in the beginning of treatment. It's just going like a little bit at a time.
Yes.
A little bit at a time. Yes.
Right. Okay. I'm going to have to try that.
Yeah. I mean, I would say to run it by your doctors first, you know, because you know, you know how it is. You know how it is as dialysis patients. Like we are the professionals.
So I was running at a 450. This was like maybe even just 2 years ago. And I was like, man, like I feel good, but I feel like I could feel better because my pulse was getting really high, like toward the. And so I was reading on all of the dialysis, you know, the posts and stuff, all the groups, that it's better to run at a slower rate.
Yes.
And so I brought it to my nurse and I was like, why do you have me running at a 450? And I said, I really want to run like at a 370. I really want to, you know, go lower, see how I feel. Oh my gosh. It was like night and day.
Yeah. Thank you. Yes. And that's it. That's it. So what I do that. I run like at 370, 360. And then after an hour into treatment, I lower it down to, let's say I run at 360 starting. Then I lower it down to 330 after an hour passed. Then when I have about an hour and 30 minutes left on treatment, I lower it down to 300. Then when I have about 40 minutes, 45 minutes, I lower it down to like 280. and I just
Okay.
slowly taper it down. And I mean,
Yeah.
that's me. I'm not saying that for everybody else, because again, everyone's different. Some people use heparin. I don't use heparin. Some people, they clot. I never clotted on the machine. You know, but there's things that I do because I'm very involved in my own healthcare. Like, you know what I'm saying? You have to be your own advocate. And I know you can attest to this. You know, you got to stand up for yourself. I could keep talking
Yeah.
about that for hours, but we could, you know, close it on that. You got to tell these people to be their own advocate. Let them know.
Okay. Yes, for sure. I totally agree with that. And, you know, my dad actually, just as early as I can remember, my dad, Vince, you know, he has always said, you know, you got to do what is best for you because nobody's going to do it for you,
Yeah.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
So you just got to look out for yourself, like you said, you know?
Mm-hmm.
There's nobody else. I mean, yeah, friends and family, they'll look out for you, but you yourself,
Yeah.
you are responsible for yourself and your health. And oh, yeah.
Yes, you're right. You know, because no one knows how you feel. No one
Right.
knows how you
Only
feel.
you know?
That's
So
amazing.
can I ask you a quick question?
Yes, ask me as many questions as you want to.
So how many liters of blood do you usually get through the machine, and how long do you run usually, like at toward the like your end of your treatment?
Yeah, so then I usually get like around 70, 71, 72 then.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I'm always in the
I
70s. Yeah.
always like to get between 70.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm
So
right there, yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I usually, and that's another thing, because most people say, well, if you start to run your blood flow rate that slow, your blood's not getting clean. You know, and that's just not true.
True. It's not true.
Yeah.
Especially with next stage. And you probably know it's better to run slower because your blood's going slower through the filter, right?
Mm-hmm.
The more that osmosis can work.
Yeah, you got to the
Oh,
dance. Yeah.
get, get all the toxins out.
Yes. I love that.
So yeah, I just wanted to ask you that question. That, and then also about cholesterol, but we can do that a different day.
Absolutely. I saw that message. I'll definitely look at my notes, because I have such a wealth of knowledge of information about all type of things.
I love it.
Yes, I love it. I love to share it, because this is my life. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, I changed my life. B. It's crazy. For most of my life, I never had 3 days where, like, in a row, where I felt good because of in center and always being in the hospital. It was until I started to, like, really pay attention to high frequency, nutrient dense food that I'm always mentioning to people. And this is just what it is. It's food that's living, with living enzymes. And, you know, this is the type of food that we're supposed to be eating as people, you know, because
Yeah.
you got to look at it like this. We're a living system. We're a living being, you know? So
Yeah.
if we eat food that's low frequency, you know, processed in bags, chips, frozen, fast food, well, that actually carries a frequency that can be measured. You know, there's a machine that I've seen where the guy connected the machine to a plant, and the plant played music because it's carrying frequency. So
Yeah.
but if you take that same machine and you put it to, like, a bag of Oreos or Skittles, it's gonna be like, it's gonna scream or just play dead. You know, it's not gonna do
Yeah.
nothing. So
Or
that, yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be like, but the point of that is the electric charge that you're looking for in food. That's what we want. That electric charge from the sun and from the Mother Earth. You're not getting that if you're going to Chick-fil-A. You're not getting that if you're just always eating
yeah.
cooked food. So we got to be very,
You
very
got me
aware
on
of
a you got me on a day that I was getting Chipotle.
it. That's fine though. And I want people. Look, I don't want
Yeah.
people to go crazy. It's okay to do that, but to be aware. We got to be aware of it. You know what I'm saying? Because today I
Yeah.
had lasagna. We went to dinner. We went to Mama Ricotta's over here in North Carolina. I had lasagna. It was amazing. But
Yeah.
I understand what that is. It's not, I'm not going to eat this type of food all the time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Once in a while. Let me show you my supplements. So
Yeah.
this standard process that I take.
And I saw that product you sent me about from your best friend. That's an amazing amino. Yes.
That's this amino code.
Right
here.
Yes. Definitely check that out. I saw that one. That one has some great ingredients. Yes.
It's really good for dialysis patients too, because it's like almost like pre-digested protein. Yeah. So your body break it down, and
that's exactly what I take. I take that. I'll take that one. I'm gonna try that one out because I also take the one, the super aminos, and they're both tremendous.
Send me your address, and I'll ship you out a free bottle. Okay.
Absolutely. I would love to try that.
Look at this.
Oh man. You're a whole Walgreens. I love it. Yes. And that's what your medicine cabinet is supposed to look like. Just like
that. And my roommate thinks I'm nuts because I hardly ever eat.
No.
When I do eat, it's like vegetables and, just good stuff.
Yes.
But that is like that there is like my food.
Mm-hmm. That's what that is. Yeah. And the stuff you see me sharing, that's exactly what it is. It's just high quality food. It really is. And it'll change your life. It really will. I love it.
Sure will.
I love it. Well, I don't want to keep you too much longer. I want to respect your time, let you get back to your dinner.
I love this. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. We got to do a part 2.
So much.
For sure.
Yeah, we should. Now, do you like to be called Marcelo or Mar? Because I saw you had like a nickname.
Yeah, I mean, my friends call me Cello. People call me Marcello, Marcelo. That, that's cool too. Mar, that's like what my family calls me. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
family, like Mar. You know what I'm saying? So whatever you feel comfortable, I perfectly fine with me.
Okay, awesome.
Thank you so much, V. I appreciate it. This was such a pleasure.
Thank you so much. You have a lovely, blessed night.
Okay, good night, my friend.
All right, bye-bye.